Hey there, Ranger Nation. It's Nate, and welcome to the Webcast with Attitude LR4. And this is episode 222. No.1 battle. Ready, go. And yes, guys, that means we are finally going to be talking about Goju Eagle. We are finally going to be doing episode rates for Goju Eagle. But not just one, not just two, not just three, not just four, but five. The first 5 episodes we'll be doing episode rates. So, but before we get into that, let me introduce you to my more phenomenal co-host. We got Rick. And we got Ryan.
Okay.
Hello.
So, how's everybody's week? How was everybody's week?
Long.
Yeah. Rick?
Hi.
About the same for you? Long? Rick, can you hear me?
What?
Yeah, okay. Ryan, am I good? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Am I
Yeah, I had an internet issue, so you were cutting
okay,
in and out.
Okay. So, guys, like I said, we've got some stuff to talk about here. But for those of you guys who don't remember, we talked about we discussed that, they were doing the documentary for a show called, a documentary series called Hollywood Demons, and episode 3 was for Power Rangers, called The Dark Side of the Power Rangers. All 3 of us have seen it. A lot of people in the fandom, a good majority of the fandom have seen it, and it's. I'm going to go to Ryan. Ryan, what would you say your feelings about the documentary?
I mean, if you don't really dwell too much into the world and like the history of it and stuff of like, what the actors went through, it's very informative. But like most of the stuff, like we kind of already knew about with maybe just little tidbits added into it for more in depth.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff. I feel like some of the stories they could have done more with than what we got,
Right.
but I mean, I thought it was pretty good for the most part.
Yeah. Rick, what about you, man?
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I did learn a couple things from it. But yeah, it was actually a little more interesting than I thought it would be. So
yeah. Honestly, I didn't. There's one thing I did not know who was gonna be on there was Audrey Dubois, and you guys knew her as Trini from the Lost Pilot episode of Day of the Dumpster. She was originally cast as Trini, but and she went into more story about what had happened during filming and everything. It's a shame of what, them not really being more responsible with certain things during that time, because that guy was going, he was suffering really bad heat stroke, and, they said, well, just get him out of the costume, have somebody else put it on, and, we'll let this guy just be over, it's just, I mean, I don't know what to say to that. It's kind of ridiculous, that's horrible,
Mm-hmm.
to do that to somebody. And the reason why she actually originally asked for, get paid more because she didn't live close to that area. She didn't live in California. So she had to do some traveling or something, and it would have been costly, and whether she need to, find a place to live, then that would be the case. But and then the whole thing about when Twee, was at that, big, meeting or something like that during that time. I don't know what it was, an investor dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
And,
Mhm.
she blurted out her frustration, which, granted, I don't blame her for that because I do think it's with all the work and everything they've done in the show. I think they should have, been more lenient to give them a raise because of how much work they did and all these toys they were making. That
The thing is, I get it, but that wasn't the time or place. That would be like you going up to your boss in the middle of the store, and while your boss is making an announcement and going off saying you need a raise, stuff like that, because without you, there would be no customer checkouts.
Right.
So again,
then,
I don't disagree with what she is to have said.
Yeah.
It's just the time and place is where the issue was.
Right. I mean, I get that.
They definitely should have been paid more.
And then, the big elephant in the room, with everything that went down with, talking about Pua, Shane, the Ninja Storm, Red Ranger, and then, Ricardo Medina, that, and then Austin St. John, which they really didn't go into too much detail with Austin because, everybody's heard about it, so they didn't. And Pua wasn't really in. They just, basically added to it, just, because, it happened, and they were just all that, they just wanted to get that in there.
It was more of like because of like the how like the connection with Hollywood and what you're as an actor perceived to be and keeping not face but like upholding like who you are or whatever for them, and as soon as you get these accusations or whatever, how it ruins your reputation and stuff like that.
Yeah,
right.
I'm not gonna lie, like. I was gonna say, I'm not gonna lie. I thought that he died of cancer. I don't know why that was my thought process because I knew he passed away, but that's what I thought, and I'm like, oh, yeah. I thought it was like something like that. And I'm like, well, that sucks, and I mean, it still sucks. But going through this, I'm like, oh, that's even worse.
Well, the thing is, it's like how I told Nate just before we got on here. The whole thing with Eric Frank. I always thought he had passed away during the filming of Zeo, and that's why his character left and then become the Gold Ranger. And, I thought that's where that happened, but apparently, he was alive for many more years. Well, okay, not you know what I mean.
Yeah, and
the
one thing
I thought, Eric's death was due to like an aneurysm in the heart, not what it actually was.
Yeah, exactly. And also with Ricardo Medina, and all that stuff, the one person I just think, they decided to interview was the one person that got him put in jail. But let me finish this real quick. It's just the fact that when she mentioned that she did date him at one point, but know that he's actually been good with volunteering, helping out with dogs and all that stuff. And then if she was so uneasy about working with him, being on a date with him, why would she think it's a good idea to, rely on him to do that?
True. I think that, there's still more in that case because it almost sounds like maybe she had malintent and his malintent got carried out first.
And
I don't know. I'm just speculating.
Also, they did point out that us as fans, we put a halo around them and everything. We praise them. That's true. We do that. We look at them. We do. I mean, something. Yeah, we do in a way. Yeah, because we look at them because these were characters on a show that we grew up with. Yeah. We never knew about their personal lives or anything like that.
And even the information we got in the release documents and stuff for this case, didn't have some of the stuff that she was talking about in the interview.
Right.
Like, I've done research on it, and I didn't know some of the stuff she was talking about. And it's like, if that information had been publicly available in the documents, then maybe it would have changed some people's minds. But the document basically led you to believe that it was self-defense. Now it's looking more like it was a heated argument that got violent. And
more than likely,
there's no self-defense on either side.
Right. Ryan, but what did you think about that with the whole thing about Ricardo Medina? If you had to put your thought process to it.
I mean, going back with the argument of how, like, she went on, like, one date with him, kind of had, like, this uncertain vibe with him, so she kind of stopped seeing him and then decided to, like, offer him a job at this
sanctuary, all that stuff.
The sanctuary she's working at. It's like, I can understand the thought process of, not like feel bad, but maybe an opportunity like to give him work. And like, you don't have to, like, you can get along with someone, you don't have to date them. So maybe she felt like, he generally helpful or whatever. It's just, she doesn't find like a relationship in that manner.
Right.
But I don't know, like, I was going to say, more info would be enough to have a full understanding of the situation.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, even if it's self-defense, like how they worded it in the show, or at least through the girlfriend's point of view of how he had the sword in his room because it's like a collector's item or whatever, and he went into his room because he felt like his life was in danger or whatever, Mike.
So you're in their room. I have one right by my door.
Yeah, and also,
now I am one of those people who have a sword in their room. I'm sure there are plenty of people who have swords in their room. People collect swords. Mm-hmm. People display them on wall mounts.
Yeah, and also, now they did go into a whole thing with Tweet Dragon. It was interesting seeing those pictures because that was her friend, and because Tweety was I think she was one of the bridesmaids, or maybe she was one of the maid of honor.
I think she was maid of honor.
And it was interesting seeing. I mean, Tweety didn't look any different from when she was, on Power Rangers. She still looked the same in the photos.
Yeah.
It was kind of surprising, but what I'm surprised is that they did not try to. I mean, maybe they did try to get in touch with David Yost and talk to him about everything, but he just denied it. He just said, "No, I don't want to do it, but please, I would ask you please not to talk about it."
Right.
I've already discussed my piece. Can you please just leave that out of there? Because I don't want it in there. Because everything that happened, I already talked about. I figured
that, or maybe they just didn't include it because it's been talked about to death.
Maybe that's
they probably they seemed like they picked like the higher, more
popular,
not deadly, not even that, but like the bigger stories that make like working in the business or the industry, like how brutal, how just rough it can be. And these are like the stories they had that's tragic, which I mean they all are.
it was very interesting to see Ciara Hanna in there. Jason Font was Nakia Breeze made sense, everything. But one thing, finding out everything about Jason David Frank, a lot of stuff. We knew everything we've heard that he's had a lot of, mental issues. You know what I mean? He had problems. But knowing that, and then going back to the whole incident, the whole thing about that one guy going to kill him because of, calling
He
him,
felt that he wasn't he wasn't a ranger.
And then you call him a drug dealer and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then finding out that, yeah, he had a drug issue, but the fact is, like, no, that's no excuse to try to kill somebody.
Right.
Because, he had problems. And, he wanted to, but moving on from that, Jason, he did put a lot of his energy for his fans. And we know this because, Rick, we've met him plenty of times. We've seen him.
Yeah.
And he was always, pumping up the, hyping up the crowd, everything. He loved that from us. He fed off our energy and made him feel great. And they did mention that, he has talked to fans outside of, conventions. And we know that individual. She's part of, yeah.
We know of one.
And
two.
I know that he's been really close with a lot of fans and a lot of, cosplayers. Because that was a part of his small circle. I've seen it. Now, my thing is, sometimes, granted, I said this before. I'm friends with Sandy Selner. We're not like very close friends, but we talk here and there. I do consider her a friend. But I'm still a fan of hers because, she was on the show. Sometimes I do think, being a fan of somebody, you gotta be careful when you're friends with that individual celebrity. You know what I mean? But Jason did do a lot for his fans, even, becoming friends with one of them. That was great. That was nice. We're not going to talk about that right now, crossover time, but we'll be getting to that. Just wait for a sec. We're just trying to talk about this, give it a bit. So with, because they did interview Tammy, because we knew obviously we knew she was going to be there, we knew she was going to be a part of this documentary. And the first time we've ever saw Eric Frank's widow as well. But we all know about the whole thing with he was served the papers and everything, and I do think it's odd that that Tammy decided to use that as a way to get his attention. It's it's not, the thing is, it's not our business of what they do, what she goes around, they do, their decision of what they do, but that wasn't a good idea to do that. Now, whether if she knew,
it almost feels like the same thing Hollywood couples would do.
Yeah, but
so
the fact is, it's
I can't necessarily blame her for it.
But granted, the thing is, we don't know. Like I said, I would like to get Tammy. I would like to talk to her on an interview, but we don't know what exactly if she knew that he was going to be at that convention.
Well, it sounds like she knew his convention schedule, mainly because he was at almost a convention every week.
Yeah, but the fact is, she didn't.
I'm pretty
but
sure
more than anything, she didn't know that he more than likely, it was possible. It was a possibility that she did not, say, "Oh, that's where he's going to be." Serve him there.
Uh, no, I have a feeling she knew he was going to be there.
Well,
Hence
no,
the reason
I
to
know.
serve him there. But whether it would be at his hotel room or on the convention floor, that I don't believe she knew.
Well, the fact is, I don't think that the reason why I don't think that she knew he was going to serve him. I can tell him where to serve him because that's up to them. It's not up to the how it's going to go about. You know what I mean?
They're going to serve him at the most likely place that he's going to be.
Right.
So in his case, it happened to be at the convention because, we know he's going to be there. Whether he's on the floor or his room, we'll wait for him to be on the floor because that's where the moneymaker is.
Yeah. But anyway,
again,
other than that,
I don't think she knew.
This documentary was very insightful and very informative. It was really hard to watch because we didn't know as much as we thought we did, about everything that went, everything with the cast members. We've heard from them directly, but we didn't know the full story. So, but there is going to be some more. I think there's maybe 2 more documentaries. I know Tammy is releasing one at some point, and then there's going to be another one. So I think there's supposed to be a majority of 3. So that's the first one we saw. The second one is going to be the one that Tammy put together, and then I don't know what the third one's going to be, but because this is coming from Legacy of Nerd. But anyway, guys, we're going to move on to our topics now. We are going to be entering the Super Sentai Zone.
Everyone's favorite zone.
So, and we are finally, after many months now, we are finally going to be doing our episode rates of Goju, and we're starting with episode 1, Savior number 1. Now, this episode begins with the whole battle with all the robos, the mechas, and everything against the Calamity robos, and then the Calamity itself. And then who shows up to help out? Take a Sword Red. And they offer him the mega whatever mecha was still alive and everything and still functioning. They offered their powers to him, and there goes the rings and everything. And then he ends up turning into a hand. So, yeah, because that makes sense, right? But
now it's flipping you off.
Yep. I gotta tell you guys, when I did this review, this thing was so hard to do because everything just kept disconnecting. So yeah, it's.
Oh, I can't wait for the mini claw to show up. It officially gets released this week on Monday, so tomorrow, which means I should get mine in the next 2 weeks, depending on how fast it ships from Japan.
Yeah. So, but with that said, then they brought you'll recognize a character, an actor from a previous Sentai in there. And but I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to go ahead and say this was a good episode. I enjoyed it. It was a good setup. It was a lot of fun, and I like how, yes, it has the focus of, the first member of the team. And,
I still find it funny that the guy that returned for this episode didn't even wear the same suit he just wore.
Yep. And I do like the how when they go into the Robo formation, and then he's able to come out, and then change. Into Goju Wolf. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and give my rate on this episode. I'm going to give it a 10. Goju Wolf for the win. I'm going to give it a 10. That was really great. Rick, why don't you go ahead and give your...
For a premiere, it was pretty good. I will say it was interesting to see Toya return, but not as Toya, his actor. It was interesting, definitely.
Yeah.
It does seem like that this world is a combination world, kind of like a broken apart version, like Zenkaiger was, where it's basically a different kind of world. They know of the Super Sentai, they just don't know of the Super Sentai. Like they've heard of it, but they haven't. Wishy-washy type deal. So that'll be interesting to get fully fleshed.
But anyway,
overall, definitely a good episode. There was some. Oh, the cockpit mode. We have a cockpit mode for this series as of right now, which is different than any other thing we've ever seen. Because when they go in to the Zord, in the Tegazord, they demorph and are in this like garment outfit that I will say has Kaiba Ranger vibes. Kaiba Ranger,
yeah,
because of the vest thing for it, and the fact that the rest of it's basically like a whitish color. I wouldn't say white, but it's like an off-white.
Right.
But
anyway, what would you rate this episode, Rick?
Yeah,
when I make sure to get everything.
It's 10.
Okay. Brian, what about you, man?
I like the idea and I like the concept of that it's ring based. Like they got to collect rings.
And now you can too.
Yeah. I do like how the beginning of the episode, the main characters work at a convenience store, and he stops an armed robbery. And he's like, "Hey, put these hot dogs on as my bonus." So the boss is like, "You're fired. Like you just stopped an armed robbery, dude, and you fired him."
Dick.
And I guess that's his character gimmick, is that he can't keep a job because he is that's just his character, as him just doing things on his own.
So
he's gonna have the same issue that Boone Pink had, jumping job to job every episode.
Probably.
I guess. So rate on this episode?
I'd give it a 9.5.
Okay. But like I said, guys, we're going to be doing more than just one episode. We're doing 5 episodes because, so we go to the next one. The next one we're going to do is episode 2, Catch the Treasure. It's my prey. As he does right with his finger. It was, okay, you're my prey. Now this one leads into the debut of Goju Leon and Goju Tyranno. also continues on after where they left off, where his coworker is fighting him. And like we said, we're just going to say it out loud. I'm just going to say it. It's the act, like he said, Taya. It is the guy that played Taya, Boone Red. But he ended
This
up
was
using...
also the episode where they used the ring, and Boone Red is one of the power-up rings that they use in a battle.
Oh, that's right.
Because Blue uses it. He's got the wheel gun, and then he's got his weapon fighting.
The only thing is...
that Toya's actor becomes...
Mm-hmm.
It
would have been cool if Taya's character in the show is like, that looks familiar or something, to have a reference to it.
Yeah.
I do find it interesting that... What about Kuwaga Ozier? Yep, that was very interesting. They did that. And what is very funny, that when they change into, when they're able to access the other Sentai rings of the other other Sentai Rangers, they only turn into red. That's what it seems like. That's what it's been. So I do find it interesting, and I wonder if they're going to explore possibly having them change into others than red.
I can answer that question.
Probably not.
We'll wait for another episode.
Yep. But anyway,
they've already given you the answer to that.
So
I don't think we're covering that episode today.
Yeah. But anyway, so again, another 10, very entertaining. The whole battle scene, they have a theme to the battles. It's a 10. I'm going to give it a 10 because I still enjoy it. It's been a really cool episode, and I like how they introduce the characters. Oh, and at the end of this episode, they reveal Goju Eagle.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was kind of interesting. So I'm going to give it a 10. Rick, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's definitely a really good episode. So much to say that would give away future episodes that that'll be next week's or next episode's listings. Definitely good. Definitely a 10. I do love Eagle showing up at the end there.
Actually, I'm gonna look that up. Go, keep going. I think I might have mistaked that.
I think he showed up at the end because I think the next episode's his episode.
No, actually, I was wrong.
No, he showed up at the end of the next episode.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. Okay.
That was a mistake on my part, guys. I'm sorry, but anyway, I still give it a 10. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, it's definitely still a 10. But yeah.
Right. Yep. Are you good, Rick?
Yeah.
Okay, Ryan, what about you, man?
I do like how in this episode it's his landlady who's obsessed with like money because I guess since he can't pay the rent, and then I guess there's like a day. Today's a day where like the income is like doubled or something. That her thing is money. So I guess the bad guys, like what they do now, instead of how they just make a monster, they're using like humans as like the host per se as the monster. Because this one, she gets sucked in and he tries to save her, and then the whole premise is they're doing a treasure hunt to see who gets like the most like riches or whatever, and he decides to like steal the dude's or steal the bad guy's his bag or whatever you want to call it.
I do
And
find
it's not,
about that.
and it's not how like most other series, how you have your villain, the villain gets big. It's more or less like you have your normal villain, and then you have a mech. Like they summon like a mech and stuff.
Like
so it's actually
SPD.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think. End of this episode, like they even kind of give everyone like different things. Like Red from the last episode, Red is the last one of the group to finally get his ring because everyone else, which you kind of you see them in the first one, but they're kind of like there, like, oh shit, like we found the last guy. And this one introduces Yellow and Blue, and they introduce themselves, and they're battling in return for the riches and stuff like that. I thought it was a pretty interesting episode. I'll give it a 10 as well.
And I want to, before we go on to the next episode, I do like how every individual episode, they, gradually, like you were saying about the mechs and everything, how they gradually introduce their mechs individually in every episode. So it's really cool how they do that. I like how they do that.
Also, I didn't notice something with these episodes. The villains are not creating the monster of the days, basically. The monster of the days essentially create themselves.
Yes.
Just like Don Brothers.
I think so.
Although, unlike Don Brothers, we actually have a true centralized villain group. Whereas in Don Brothers, we had those three for the most of the series, but even they fought the monster of the day. Like, they weren't the true, like, overarching villain. Don Brothers never had a true overarching villain.
Now, speaking...
At least we have a overarching villain here.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Dawn Brothers...
oh, yes.
Episode 3, The Boss of Japan. I am the Prime Minister. And what's funny about this actor, he played in Ultraman, in one of the Ultraman series. He was one of the Ultraman man characters. And he turns into Don Momotaro. He has the same mannerisms, like the ha 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 ha, all that stuff. This was a very silly episode. Still fun. I still enjoyed it. And this is the episode where at the end they do bring in a brief appearance of Goju Eagle at the end of the episode. But it's not what you expect. But we're going to be getting into that for episode 4 after this. Again, good episode, a lot of fun. Like I said, I like how they gradually introduce the mechas, the Tegasword's other formation for each Gojuger. I'm going to give it a 10. It was still good. It was really good. Rick?
Yeah. So I really love the fact that, you had this guy essentially being open about his power, transforming in front of people, using the power. So basically breaking Zordon's #1 rule of don't use the power to,
personal gain.
Yeah, the personal gain. But then again, they didn't have Zordon, so, I guess they didn't understand that concept. But
wrong universe, but anyway.
This was a really fun episode. It had Dawn Brothers feel for most of it, but yeah. So Eagle's reveal at the end made you think that wait, did they lie about who they cast for the part? Yeah, he demorphs, and it's like,
yeah.
what?
Also, there was a debut of another character, a private investigator.
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
be getting into that a little later.
We did get her in this episode.
But anyway, let's go ahead and give the rate, Rick.
Yeah, so this one is... I'm going to go ahead and give it a 10. Mainly because a 9 I don't think is high enough, but I don't think it... I mean, I could go 9.5. 9.5.
Whatever works. Ryan, what about you?
This is the episode I was actually in the middle of before we started. Try to refresh my memory on it. I'd give it about a 9 from what I remember.
And now time to go into the introduction of Goju Eagle. Episode 4, Party Time. Dreaming, old man.
See, I didn't realize my grandpa still had the potential of being a ranger.
Now, here's the thing. I honestly thought that it was his grandfather at first, but then to find out, no, the ring was able to turn him back to his younger self. So that was very interesting. And then they debut. Which mecha did they debut in this one? Form for the Tegasword.
Didn't they actually do Eagle's form in this episode, or was that next episode?
Oh, that was a fun. So they did. So I'm guessing he had. So I'm guessing it was. I don't know. Maybe they just used Tegasword. The Tegasword. Tegasword Red. So that was the one they used, and. But again, another fun episode. I'm gonna give it a 10. Rick.
Give me a minute here. This is episode 4, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you had the popularity last episode, so yeah. Oh, Eagle has to eat a lot of eggs to stay young.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, they did use Tegasword Red. However, they also had Yellow show up.
Yellow has a real
for
issue.
A moment.
He's very obsessed with Tegasword, and he doesn't like how.
And oh yeah, because they had to confront Green's family,
right? So
and not tell that their grandfather became young again.
Yeah, I mean, how would you explain that? But anyway, Rick, what would you give?
Teenager's your grandfather. Have a nice day.
Yeah. So, Rick, how would you rate this episode?
It was still good. I'm gonna give it a 9.
Okay. Ryan, now I don't know if you ever got a chance to finish.
I remember the old part. I don't remember fairly on like what's keeping him young, because going back and rewatching episode 1, he does show up in his younger form.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like just think about like okay, then episode 4 and stuff. But I do find it an interesting concept of having an older person playing a ranger, and this is how they go with it of trying to keep eternal youth or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So just from vaguely what I would remember, I'd probably give it about a 9.
Okay. All right. Now to the episode 5. Recovering your soul. Don't let your troubles get in the way. Now this one has to deal with Goju Unicorn. She's in the previous episode. She's been struggling trying to access her powers,
Oh yeah.
and she's in search for her lost sister. Which we're not going to go into too much detail yet, but there is something interesting about this whole ordeal. And this is what this episode does debut. I believe Tega Sword Green. So
Yeah.
I believe so. I think. What did I just hit? I think I hit the wrong one. There we go. Yeah, Tega Sword Green makes his debut. Again, good episode. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 10 because it was still fun. And it was funny. She actually stole their rings. So,
yeah. She's the first one to ever get possession of all 5 rings.
yeah. So, Rick, go ahead and give your rate.
So, yeah, she's trying to, track down the individual who took her sister for revenge,
Mm-hmm.
which is what seems to be what was blocking her from accessing her powers.
Yeah.
But the moment she decided she wanted to try to help people, and realized that's what her real wish was, that's what allowed her to transform.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I'll find my sister and I'll do it my way.
Right.
Because the monster was offering up a clue.
Right.
Then she does end up giving the rings back. We do get Tega Sword Green. Yeah.
So, what would you rate this episode?
Definitely, this one's definitely a 10. Yeah, definitely a 10.
And Ryan, before I go to you, one thing was interesting about that with the rings, they give them a special ability. Red is able to have like enhanced scent, like his sense of smell is heightened.
Yeah. Tyrano had super strength.
Yep. Blue, I can't remember what his was.
It's his. I wonder if it has to do with his voice, like lion's roar kind of thing, or
maybe.
Yeah, I think he's trying to be popular again because apparently he was popular in the past.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to recapture his fame.
Goju Unicorn can hear people's thoughts.
Yeah.
And Green is more than likely the youth.
The being young.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
I do find that interesting. But anyway, Ryan, go ahead.
I know. I mean, I do remember the part of her trying to get her sister back. Yeah, this is where she debuts her morph. I think this is the same episode with Eagle, Tega Sword Eagle formation. I'm gonna have to go back to at least get a higher grade, but I'll probably stick with a 9, just from what I remember.
Okay.
She debuts, but we don't get Pegasaur Black in the episode.
Yeah, we don't get her up until 6, which we'll be discussing in another episode of LR4. So, but yeah, this show has started off really well for the 5 episodes we're discussing. Can't wait to start talking about more of them. We'll be doing 4 episodes.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, we learned something in this as well.
Yep, we're not going to discuss that.
Right at the end.
There's something at the end, but we'll have to.
I am only going to mention half of it. And that is, she says that the person who took her sister has gray eyes.
Yep, that's it. So, now we're going to be getting into Tokullectibles.
Yeah, because
no, we're not.
Theory of,
sorry.
Where this is going to go, and I think the popularity episode showed one pink-haired villain falling in love with.
Yeah, we'll
blue,
Rick, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on from that. I want to get to.
So there's many threads here that's going to be fun.
Right. We're gonna move on from that. I want to try to get through this topic. So there is a 30th anniversary event for Orange, and if you go to their site,
Olay!
Let's see. It tells it when it's going to be. Let me translate this. Give me 1 sec. There we go. Translate to English. There we go. So the special event is going to be held August 3rd of this year. And it will be in Japan, of course. The information's in there. I'm not going to go too much detail. July is when they're going to be re-releasing an affordable version of the TV series of the DVD, I believe, of O-Ranger DVD Collection Volume 1 and then Volume 2. These are going to be released July 9th. So keep an eye out for that. And for those of you that are curious about this event, so yeah, just keep an eye out for that. And that was pretty much it. I wanted to get that in there because it's something to talk about. Now we're getting to Tokullectibles. We got the Yudo figures, which Rick, you do have some of these, right?
Yes.
And this does come as a set.
Yes.
From Tokullectibles. And what is very interesting is that when we get to this part, they're trying to keep this low key. But, and I like how this space right here is all black. So it makes you wonder. Well, obviously, it's only going to have these.
Yeah. Based on release date for this, I am thinking that those 2 remaining boxes, since the weapons are already coming with the figures, you're either going to get the henchmen, the little bell creature things.
Yeah.
You're going to get one of those. Or you're going to get the guy that's coming up in the next few episodes that we'll talk about next week.
Or next month, maybe.
Next episode.
Yeah, next episode. Not next week. Oh, boy. Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We're going to get...
but yeah, we will show that guy, though. We will show that guy. Because I do plan on showing that.
Oh.
So, but we're not...
Yeah.
But no... But anyway,
so,
Ryan, what do you think is going to be included in the Yudo figures?
We already know the red top half red's blacked out thing is going to be
I was about to ask about that, but we already know, so we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
Money situation. I mean, these are pretty cool.
Right.
So
Yeah,
And I do
plan
think,
on ordering it maybe next week if I had the funds. I had to buy a new hedge trimmer this week to try to reach the top of the hedges because I pulled my shoulder.
Hmm.
So,
yeah.
yeah, Grandpa won't shut up about it.
So yeah, set
Pretty
one
exciting.
is available, and they are selling all. It looks like they are selling all 6 of them, all 12 boxes,
Yes.
which I think is fine, which is interesting. Yeah. So yeah,
So, like, if you went to a store in Japan, you'd be able to buy these individually, each box individual. So you could buy top half red, bottom half blue, without buying the rest, like on the store shelf. But if you order
okay,
through like a site like Tokullectibles, you're just going to get the whole display.
yeah. They said set includes 12 boxes. There may
Yes.
be duplicates.
The reason
So-
they're saying that is because of the fact that box 11 and 12 have yet to be revealed.
Right.
So they're putting that on there as a possibility.
Yeah.
But so far, from what I've seen, the Udo figures do not include duplicates.
Yeah.
There have been a few mini plots that have included additional copies of certain items, like the Don Brothers mini plot 2, the Avatar one, where it had the red Avatar guy,
Mm-hmm.
and then it included 2 copies of the Lupin and Powder Ranger items.
Right.
But other than that, actually, I think that was the only one that included 2 of the same thing carryover.
Now,
I might be wrong.
what the weapon that they're blacking out right there? Here it is.
Yeah.
And yeah. And also, here it is. Oh man. So this is the I did a review, live tour review of this yesterday. Very short. If you guys want to check it out, go ahead. That's our 50th live tour review I did. So,
Ain't it interesting that this weapon's name has the number 50 in it as well?
that's kind of funny, yeah. Now I realize that. Yeah. Wow, I didn't realize that. This is called the Wolf Decaliber 50. It's a type of dagger / knife or sword. I guess you can consider it a sword in a way.
It's used like one.
And like I said before in the review, let me just go out of this really quick, is that it's a cool toy. My thing is, I do wish. Let me turn off the light a little bit. Yeah. But I do wish it did have a switch that can turn it off to preserve battery. And yes, this does connect with the Tegasword, like I said in the review before. Because all the weapons do connect with the Tegasword. But this one is a different type of formation. Instead of calling it, wait, hold on. I gotta. Yeah, see, this is what got my doing all this. So, doing this, turn that around, do that.
I was going to summon Tagasword and, fight some giant robot in the city or something.
Yep. And then, this part right here goes down like so. You're all set. And then, you put this up like so. And then you got to put the blade down, like so, for Tegasword Red. Put this down, like so. And then, there you go. Now to turn it into Tega, into the new formation, you got to take this one off right here. The blade stays in there. I mean, the blade can come out like it was before. Like, you have to fold it this way, though. That's how they had it designed to do it. But then you can just do it this way, put it down like that, and then put this in the back, like so. Like that. I should have done it all. I should have done all this kind of stuff on the review, but I didn't really put too much into it. And then the fun part. Take this off. There's the music. Put the headpiece on like so. And then hit the button. And there you have a really big, bulky looking Tegasword, or AKA Tegasword Decaclaw. I can keep that head thing up. So yeah, this is still available. It's in stock right now. You can actually just buy it, so you don't have to really worry about pre-orders. It's in stock, and what came with this, I don't know if they still have this available. This ring came with it, like I said in my review. Look at the in stock, or maybe it's not in stock. Or it's still up for pre-order. Let me look.
No, it's in stock.
Well, that's weird. Then why is the link not? Huh.
It was in stock when we started the episode.
Huh. Holy crap. Okay, now it's out of stock. All right, never mind. That was quick. All right. Now it's not. So guys, now, yeah, unfortunately, they might have ran out of stock. So maybe we'll get some more in at some point, but I got lucky. Yeah, but this it came with
wrong kind of lucky.
Yeah, it came with this ring, and this ring actually does. If you look at this, hold on. You guys can see that. It's got all the
special ring.
Yep, the Tegasword formations. And then you can turn it this way, and then you turn it this way. It's pretty cool. So, yeah, guys, hopefully they get this back in stock. I don't know how they do things with Tokullectibles. You might have to look at Amazon or Rick. What would you say you would have to look for if Tokullectibles doesn't have it?
If Tokullectibles doesn't have it, you could always try shops like I don't know if Planet Earth is still in business. I know Big Bad Toy Store gets them periodically. eBay, there's a couple eBay sellers on there that are legit in terms of being actual business, not just private seller selling it. Because some Japanese stores have realized they can expand their profit margins by selling to people worldwide. Because, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Sentai's not just the Japanese favorite show.
It's gone.
It's gone global.
Exactly. But Ryan, did you ever order the mini plaws?
Yeah, I just gotta wait for them to come in. Which the shitty part is we're planning on moving, and if everything goes well, it's a possibility that when it comes and gets shipped, it's going to ship to my old place instead of the new place. So I'm going to either have to, hopefully they drop it off at the house, and not the mailbox. If the mailbox, I'm going to have to find a way to see if I can get it out of there.
Right.
Well, I mean, put in a change of address form at the post office.
Yeah, I could do that as soon as I get it.
Yeah. Well, you can do it as soon as you move.
Yeah.
However, depending on how fast you're planning on moving, the Mini Plot 1 officially hits the shelves in Japan tomorrow.
Bless you.
Bless you.
So it should ship out within the next week or so from Tokullectibles once they get their shipment in.
We're hoping to try to get it maybe this week, and that's the thing, because we were hoping to get 2 weeks ago, and the one company that we were going for couldn't get back the last fucking form that we needed. So we went with another one, so now we can put all this information in for them, and yeah, so hopefully they can get us in maybe this week. But I mean, regardless, as soon as I hear something or move or whatever, I'll change my address, and hopefully that does it. Because I know the second,
like for the future ones that aren't coming out till like August, maybe reach out to Tokullectibles because they do have a thing on the shop app.
yeah.
So you can reach out there and be like, hey, I just moved, so can you update my address information?
Yeah.
So, all right.
I know with the second set that's supposed to have green and black, I had it shipped to my mom's house because they ain't going anywhere. So as soon as I find anything, just it gets dropped off there, and just have my brother contact me when it's been sent, and then I can come pick it up. Yeah. So at least it's easier on me.
And then Mini Plot 3 is now officially up for order.
Right.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it is $65 instead of $55. Which, I mean, was expected.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Brian,
the
so I'm sorry. I'm not
released for it. Does appear that it is the Decaclaw Tegasword and Black Daijujin.
All right, I'm not laughing at you because I'm just laughing because just your
speculating the Daijujin in this is going to be a mini plot version of the Deluxe Robo Universe,
right?
Not the version that we've already got.
But I was laughing because just your reaction. You're like, oh shit, just your reaction.
Shit goes by fucking fast.
Oh yeah. So now the next thing we're gonna talk about is that certain thing we thought. Rick, he thought that this was going to be what was going to be called the Tegajune, but no, this is the Tegajune, which is the main villain, one of the main villains of the story of the show, and that is one of the other villains, or yeah.
Tegajune appears to be the big giant robot that the villains have.
Yep. They did show, remember what episode it was? They showed Tegajune in, but it was one of the episodes we were discussing on this episode.
Now,
and the one that uses the Tegajune is the Ring Hunter Gerudo. And I gotta say, the design is interesting, but we can get a better look at the design right here and who he is. But I'm not going to tell you exactly who he is yet, because that's going to be.
Tell them how he transforms.
I mean, you can.
Yeah. So whereas the Gojujers, do the little clap,
Yep.
He does like a slide action, like he's cocking a gun.
I mean, I whoops.
I mean, he does have a gun on his head. I can already tell you right now, if they made him if they adopted this as a Power Ranger season, they would probably find a way to not include him solely because of the gun on his helmet.
Right. So I want to ask you, Rick, what do you think of this design and the Tegajun design?
I mean, it's interesting. Tegajun is definitely an interesting thing as well.
And guys, I just want to let you know, yes, I did order the Tegajun, and that will be coming in May. And I do believe it is still available for pre-order.
I would love for the mini pod to actually be Tegajun, Deca Claw, and mini pod 3,
right.
not another Tegasword.
Yeah.
But based on the silhouettes I've seen, it's going to be Deca Claw with another copy of Tegajun.
Well, I mean, think about it this way: at least you'll be able to change. At least you'll be able to change it out. You know.
Yeah.
That's something
Well,
to look forward to.
That will give me 3 Tegaswords, there. So now I only need one more mini plot 1, one more mini plot 2.
Right. Go ahead, Ryan.
Unless if they did with the Don Brothers, the Avatara, where they had an individual one by itself, which I had the plan of doing with the Tegasword. I was going to have the mecha form, and the rest of them were going to be in like their weapon forms. But if we're getting a set 3 that's going to have another Tegasword, what's the point now?
True.
They should just sell the Tegasword by itself.
Another one of 1 and another one of 2. That way I have.
So, Ryan, what do you think of the design of Gerudo, the Ring Hunter?
It would be funny if he got pissed off and the gun thing on his head came like shot off like steam, like I'm so mad or something. It's kind of cool.
I do commemorate the design. I do like it. So, I mean, I look forward to talking about this character in our next. Go ahead.
So it doesn't have. I don't know. I'm like really weird when it comes like to Sentai because of how like the designs go together. This one just kind of stands out like it's a different complete series that they've like thrown it in there, which I'm not complaining.
Right.
And stuff. But I mean,
it does give me Red X vibes from the 19 series.
I know what you mean. Yeah, that's what people have been saying.
Like he looks like it's something from Kamen Rider.
Actually, now I think about it, yeah, kind of does. So now, speaking of mini plaws and everything, finally got the reveal of of the SMP Wolf Kaiser.
Yeah, I saw the price on that, and I'm like,
how much is it? Let's see. Hold on.
Like 160, you think?
140.
Oh, close enough.
I mean, Rick, you could do it. You could. Did you ever get the Magic Angel?
I did order
Magic King.
Yeah,
Magic King.
Which was only 100.
I mean, Rick, if you went for the full payment and you had the money, you could do it.
I could, but financially, my mind is telling me don't. But I mean, I wouldn't mind getting it solely because it's definitely a fun thing. But then you look at the size difference between Korag and The horse.
Okay.
And,
Yeah. Okay. And also, there's something that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
you knew that was going to be able to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Did I not include the? Hold on. I guess I didn't. Oh wait, did I? Huh. I guess I didn't. Oh well. But yeah, it does have the way to turn into the centaur form, and he's able to ride it and then turn into this form with the other. So, I mean, even though it's very pricey, this is going to be coming out September. This should be released around that time. And also the other stuff. I mean, this was already released, and it's out of stock now. So, the Take of June is going to be released May. So get that pre-order in. Don't miss out your chance on getting it, and don't miss out your chance on getting this too. So, now Ryan, I know you already have the Magic King.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would have you actually been interested in getting the mini plow version?
I already have it, so it'd be I wouldn't say pointless, but I mean,
You have it in the mini pod version.
no.
He has the actual deluxe.
I have the deluxe one.
Yeah, I had that years ago.
I
sold it.
I have the Japanese version, not the American, the Magic or the Mystic Force one. Yeah, I had the Wolf Kaiser as well, but that lost pieces over time, and then Korag's now legless, so he's an amputee. So it's kind of helpless.
I had Korag,
Mm-hmm.
but the version I had was the U.S. release, and that I found at a Big Lots.
Wow.
And it was extremely cheap in production. So I'm pretty sure it was more of a knockoff version.
I do find I just looked at the Magic King price, and that is actually $90.
How much?
It's $90. Must have went down.
Oh, then I may have only paid $90.
But yeah, so guys, if you're interested in buying any of this stuff, besides, unfortunately, this is out of stock. Best bet is to look at Big Bad Toys. I try to stick with certain things with Big Bad Toys, like Power Ranger stuff, because I really don't. When the Tokullectibles, I go for Sentai.
Yeah, those Big Bad Toys does tend to take a little bit longer to get their stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan knows about that, right?
Shipment issues over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Whether on their end or on the supplier's end, I don't know.
Yep. As like I said, Ryan knows about that because
tried to get Black Thunder or Dino Thunder pre-ordered it, and they kept saying, "Here's the release date. Here's the release date." I was like, I haven't heard anything, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, we're sold out. We didn't have enough in stock or whatever." So they refunded, or they pretty much didn't take the money until I got you pre-order, but they usually don't take the money until
it's in stock.
It's in stock, but they didn't have any, so they didn't take any money. But still, I was just kind of like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but
which I mean, if you're weary on pre-orders, that might be the better idea to go with a company that takes the money when it comes in, not right away.
Yeah.
Whereas Tokullectibles, you make the payment right now, and you get the product when it comes out.
Yeah.
Which is really good because it's been really. I'm glad they don't sit around waiting. Until the product's there, and it helps me minds out.
Like how some companies they'll put the hold on the funds, and then the hold falls off, and then they put it again. So it keeps messing with what you have available, especially if you're not using a credit card.
Right. So now, guys, we are exiting the Super Sentai zone because it is now time for Rick's Boom Prime Time. And guys, this is going to be a little different because we're kind of giving a little look at what's coming in August instead of July because there hasn't been anything posted yet. But Rick's going to go ahead and look that stuff up real quick. He's going to grab that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Yeah. So, Boom Studios and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita Rewind, the video game. So, August 2025 will be a celebration for 32 years of Power Rangers. And with being part of Boom Studios. The Leading Cool website confirmed that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind will get a comic adaptation. So, I mean, they're basically injusticing this game. Giving us a comic to go with the game, kind of like Injustice did. The game, of course, was released in 2024 on several platforms in a Street Fighter-esque manner, honoring the classic Super Nintendo and Mega Drive, or as we knew it, Sega.
Right.
I mean, in the plot, we have a parallel reality where Rita's robot beat the Mighty Morphin Rangers in the present and return to the past to conquer Earth. The story is basically a what if of Once and Always that was released in 2023 to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the franchise. And the new comic will be written by Zoe Turnell.
These names, man, they're hard to pronounce.
Zoe Tunnel. It
Zoe
was
T.
not revealed who will illustrate and color the comic yet. However, we also got to learn of another Power Ranger crossover coming up. Part 3 of the Power Rangers Turtles crossover. So we've had them with the Mighty Morphin powers. We've had them with their own Dimension X Ranger powers. Question is, what's going to happen now? The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Ninja Turtles 3 comic was announced at this year's Comic Pro, convention.
Yeah.
Or, announcement place. Also slated to be released August this year. The story will again be written by Ryan Parrott. Of course, illustrator and colorist were not revealed.
Right.
Then the VR Troopers have everything to accomplish the launch of the new monthly VR Troopers of the Prime Universe. Boom Studios will also relaunch the classic 1995 VR Troopers Power Rangers flip book. So they're going to re-release that from 95.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, guys, like this is some good news.
Oh, this is gonna be cool.
I did not expect them. I mean, I kind of skimmed through the second Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, but this, and I didn't expect it to actually, because they hinted at a third one, and then there we go. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this. Guys, when we get more information on this, look at the first issue and also look at. Now, Rick, what do you think? Do you think Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind is going to be like a possibility? I mean, this comes from another Ranger fan page called Mega Power Brazil, and they get their information of where they get it. Do you think that the comic book version of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind is going to be just probably a one-off, or do you think they're probably going to do it as a mini-series?
I think it's going to end up being a mini-series by the way that they had the information there.
Okay.
It's looking like it's going to be a mini-series.
Yeah. Ryan, what do you think by that?
Yeah, I mean the going through the game itself and the story, I could see it being more of a mini-series than a one-off.
It's very true.
The other ones look good.
Now, Ryan, you have been starting to read the series since you got it and everything. Are you planning to get any of the crossover ones? Or are you just going to wait till you're done with the series and then possibly do the? I mean, like not only that, but also the one-offs, basically like Power Rangers Unlimited, and then Power Rangers, the graphic novels like Soul of the Dragon. You got Time Force one, Sins of the Future, Psychopath, I think it's called.
Psychopath.
Those are the only three that they released, right?
Well, you had like Soul of the Dragon, Psychopath, and a couple of them that were just like mini graphic novels, not actual comic issues.
Sins of the Future was the third one they released.
Yeah.
And then then they started doing Power Rangers Unlimited. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So would you ever think about doing that?
Probably. Yeah. I don't want to do the Kaiju Ranger one with the Power Rangers versus Godzilla.
Yeah, that Godzilla 1, Godzilla 2.
Yeah. You said you don't want to do that one, or you do want to do that one?
I do want to do that one.
Okay, so yeah, those. I mean, you can find those on Amazon.
I think my comic book shop has Godzilla 2 in stock as a trade paperback.
So hopefully,
did you need that one, Nate?
Godzilla. I already have both Godzillas. I have 1 and 2. Godzilla versus Power Rangers Mighty Morphin, and then Godzilla versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 2. I already have. I have both of them.
Okay.
So I'm good. I really need to just get to the point to read them. So, but now we're done with Rick's Boom Prime Time, guys. Now some merch here. This was announced at I think this was announced last year at the San Diego Comic-Con, I believe. What Hasbro was going to be continuing with doing stuff, still continuing, licensing a bunch of other Power Ranger stuff. And here's one of them. And that is they're going with Mattel, Fisher Price, Little People. And these are Target exclusives.
The fact that they actually show them with spread legs when they don't do that.
Yeah, that is very weird.
That's deceptive.
Yeah, it is what it is. But, this, I looked on Target.com, but it's sold out. So I'm guessing whether they just haven't put it up yet or it's just still outside on the website, and you have to probably go looking for it in the stores. So happy hunting on that. Rick,
No, I'm not buying them.
Okay, there you go. Ryan?
I wouldn't mind jumping into that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just the only thing is it's a collector's item where you could just get it signed by the actors, minus taking it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's that. And then as we were talking about Godzilla versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Oh, sorry guys, hold on a second. Let me
Sorry.
push my air. It's okay.
That was on my end. I was dumping a bunch of little figurines to clean up. That was the last set.
Sorry, guys, my AirPods were starting to die out. Speaking of, like I said, Godzilla versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, you guys have a local hot topic. You've got these bag clips. This is series 1, and these come from the second comic, and it's series, and then they're blind packs. So guys, if you want to get one, you'd have to go directly to the website, order it. Unfortunately, I don't think they have them in stores. You might be lucky to find them in stores at Hot Topic. But I did put a direct link in the description, and then you can possibly.
They have 2 Yellow Rangers shown on there.
That is very odd. But,
There's probably a difference between.
Probably, yeah. But if you guys are into. Now, who here remembers when you. Rick, did you get the. When Funko was doing the mini pops or whatever they were called?
Well, they still do the mini Funkos.
Yeah,
no, I do not get those. I get the regular Funkos periodically, depending on which ones they are.
Well, they had these ones where you got these, and they had these weird little bodies, and
So standard Funko.
I'm trying to think of what they were called. They were owned by Funko, but they weren't the same design as. They were the same. They had the design look of Funko, but God, I gotta remember that name. But they were blind packs as well. I was collecting a lot of those, and I stopped because it was just starting to get.
Oh, were they like little? They almost looked like those old punching doll things.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't remember the name, but I did get a few of them.
Yeah. Ryan, what do you think of the whole blind pack stuff?
It's a fun thing, but I mean, it's going to cost you Yes.
Gambling
fun for the kids.
Children.
Mm-hmm.
Fun for the kids, but yeah.
It's gambling.
Mm-hmm.
But because there's no monetary gain from it.
But speaking of games, they finally showed us the trailer for ARC and Power Rangers Wave 2. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Let me just put that up there. Here we go.
After 10,000 years, I'm free! It's time to conquer Earth!
The fact that when they showed Tiger Zord,
And the saber-tooth tiger.
it was almost the same size as saber-tooth tiger. But when they showed White Ranger, then they showed Titanus. It's like, are you trying to say it's his Zord now?
Now,
That
it's
was
funny
a little
that they
weird.
only have Tiger Zord. They don't represent the Thunder Megazord or anything, but maybe that would be in Wave 3. But
also, did you see how Lord Zed was holding his staff
With the
like it was
spear
a
part.
spear?
Yeah.
Because he was ready to stab somebody with the bottom of his staff.
I mean, granted, I don't hate this because it's interesting of how they're collabing with Power Rangers and putting it in here. Do I think it's odd of how they decided to go for a smaller version of the Saber-Tooth Tiger and the Tiger Zord? Yes. Very odd.
Yeah.
But due to the fact
I think they're basing it on the size of what those creatures actually would have been in comparison to each other.
Right.
But then you have them joining to be the Megazord, and all of a sudden the Saber-Tooth Tiger is grown.
Yeah. There you go.
I guess you can't have the Megazord being lock-legged.
So I'm going to go to you, Rick. Rick, what do you think of this? I mean, we've already talked about
I think it's interesting. I don't play the game, never have.
Yeah.
But definitely interesting. The command center looked like it was just an outdoor platform.
Mm-hmm.
It's only alpha. Based on going on. Ryan, what do you think?
I do like how the Green Ranger is on the bad guy side.
So
we get
like
Green Ranger, White Ranger.
Yeah, they kind of made that like a thing instead of just like, oh, they're all teamed together. It's like, no, it's like we've kind of made it where the White Ranger wasn't a bad guy first. He is with them as that, which, I mean, yeah.
I do find it funny how they do include the White Ranger early, considering the Thunderzords haven't even been.
The fact that Rita shows up this far into the storyline.
And then Lord Zed, and then, have Goldar, and then you have a Putty. But I think it's cool. Granted, again, whatever. Still looks cool. Now, guys, we are going to be getting into the Ranger Stop and PopCon guest announcements and all that fun stuff. So here we go. Blake Foster is going to be there, as you remember him as Justin Stewart, the Blue Turbo Ranger. And then we got some photo ops with Yellow Rangers. So, guys, if you want to get your photo ops with the group of Yellow, there's your option right there. And now, Austin St. John. This was starting off the Red Week announcement. He will be there as well. And then let's not forget, guys, if you miss out on your chance to go to Ranger Stop and PopCon, you can get your autographs and merchandise mailed to you, or you can maybe you can mail it in too to get it signed. I don't know. But you just got to go to Ranger Stop and PopCon, rangerstopatlanta.com/autographs. You can find all the information there. And now we've got another Red Ranger. Brennan Mejia is going to be there. Selwyn Ward. And then just let you know, guys, tickets are available. Make sure to get them. Don't miss out on your chance to get the VIP tickets. VIP is a good way to go if you want to get in early and get all the good perks. So, and then we got Russell Curry. Dang it! That's all I got to say about that. I wish it was at BMC 2022, man. Ugh. But, hopefully we'll see what happens. Brendan McLaren is going to be there. And then you've got the duo from Dino Thunder photo ops with Kevin Duhaney and Jeffrey Perazzo. And then you've got Andrew Gray. He will be there as well.
And then the Wolf Warrior, Liambo, a.k.a. Korag, even though he played Liambo, who's still, yeah. But anyway, that's the guest announcements for this week. We're going to be discussing.
Go back to
Because
Andrew,
we got-
Ray.
What?
Go back to Andrew. Doesn't he look more like a pirate here? Look like he could be playing a part of a pirate.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
only took him how many years to finally get the appearance?
Rick, really? So Ranger Stop and PopCon, guys, just remember, June 13th to the 15th, final year. This is going to be it for Ranger Stop and PopCon, guys. So they're going all out. When I say going all out, man, just wait till you hear more stuff we'll talk about in the next episode of LR4. We're going to be covering a lot of Ranger Stop and PopCon guest announcements. So, guys, keep an eye out for that during our next episode. So, but now it's time to play Guess That Silhouette for Power Rangers Legacy Wars. We'll go to Rick.
What the hell?
Guess That Silhouette.
Definitely some large gun, it looks like. So it's got, I would say it's most like, oh, it's a Battleizer form. It's Lightspeed Rescue. Blue or green, I think.
Okay, Ryan?
Although there's Time Force behind it.
I was about to say the same thing. If you check the background, that might give a hint too.
Mm-hmm.
Did Red
Time
Ranger
Force
have like
Yellow?
a motorcycle power up thing?
Wait, hold on. Ryan, what'd you say?
Time Force Yellow?
Okay, now Rick, what were you going to say?
Trying to think which. I guess it could be. I mean, the yellow in the background might be a clue, but the gun.
Well, let's just go ahead and show the promo and fighting.
Yeah, I didn't even notice the background until you mentioned it.
The reason why I was laughing is because the I can't remember what vector weapon that was.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I was laughing because you were saying battle. I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I think we have some other Time Force roster Rangers part of the roster.
I thought that they had red and pink already, and of course we know they have Ransik.
I mean, granted, like I said, I'm glad they're keeping up doing Legacy Wars. You know, been doing very well, and they keep going with it. So hey, why not? So Ryan, what do you think of them? Of how we're still getting more and more roster get characters and everything.
That's cool, I guess.
Yeah, not much to say about
I
it.
kind of like weird. I mean, not even like a really nitpick. Like the silhouette and picture of her is with her cannon, and she only uses it one time as a move, and it's an assist move, not her actually like as her character.
Yeah.
I'm just collecting. Let me look at the. Yep, there she is, right there. Now available, premium. Yeah. I mean, I like how they still continue on. Well, time. Yep, Time Force Red is in there. Let's see.
Pink is in there. I know that.
Time Force Yellow, which is already. Yep, Pink is in there. Yep. And I believe maybe Quantum Ranger was announced at some point, or maybe I'm thinking of. Oh, nope, Quantum Ranger's in there. Yep, so there's 4 Rangers that are in there. 4 Time Force Rangers. There might be another one, maybe. I keep looking. So yeah.
Blue or green might be in there.
Maybe I'm looking. Yeah, I'm not seeing them in there. I know Quantum Ranger was included in Power Rangers Battle for the Grid.
Mm-hmm.
So as well, and I'm not seeing green or blue. Maybe if I'm passing them up, but yeah. So it's cool that they're trying to get full Rangers, like a good amount of different Rangers in there. So yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that, and it gives it more, options in it. And let's see. So, but yeah, like I said, I still keep the game on there if I ever get just bored and I just want to do something. I don't really play it constantly like I tried to back then, because it's one of those games. It's like it's hard to keep up with because there's so much.
You guys spend so much money to unlock things or play it basically
Grind.
24/7.
Yeah. I mean, I still keep Pokemon Go on my phone, and I don't even play that. So just to have it if I get bored. So, but with that said, yeah, guys, if you're interested in playing this game, just go to the website. It'll give you all the information you need. But yeah, that's it for this episode. So let me go to Rick. Rick, go ahead and say
Support your local comic book shops, support your local small businesses. Some prices are most likely going up, so do what you can to save money on your end, but also spend local, buy local type deal. Which I know a lot of stuff comes from elsewhere in the world, but if you buy at the local shops, buy at your local stores, it helps that.
Rick, what is next Saturday?
Oh yeah, next Saturday is that day where the comic book companies say, "Here, have a few free comics. Help get your kids into reading." Yeah, it's Free Comic Book Day, 2025. Yeah, there's a Boom Studios Power Rangers Prime VR Trooper comic. There's also going to be another Boom Studios anniversary thing that they're doing, I believe, celebrating, I think 20 years of publishing or something.
Yes, I did it.
So, I mean, you can always get that too. DC, Marvel, Image, Dynamite, all the other comic companies will have at least one, if not two issues. DC Marvel, of course, have like a dozen each or so. Spider-Man Amazing Friends is going to have another one.
So what Rick is pretty much saying is get out there, support, and get those free comics.
A lot of the comic book shops will be doing sales as well on a lot of their backlog comics. So, like, some stores will do half off their back stock. Some stores will do buy X amount, get X amount free.
Yeah.
So check it out.
Yep.
I know, what was it, 2 years ago? Not the one I normally go to, but the other one close, which is technically actually closer to me. They were doing a sale on comic boxes with the graphic images on the side. Half off on those, which was really nice.
Right.
Some of them have some really nice designs, so definitely keep an eye out for sales and stuff too.
Yep. Ryan?
Take care of yourself out there. That's all I can say. Pretty much.
All right, guys, go ahead and mute your mics. I'm going to go ahead and do the outro.
Excuse me.
So, all right, guys, thank you for tuning in to this episode of LR4. So, like I said, the next episode, we will be digging deep into Ranger Stop and PopCon because we're going to have this. I do plan on doing episode 223 in May. So I don't have the date yet, but it will be happening in May. Just let you know. Hopefully we do have something for Rick's Boom Prime Time by then. So, yeah, and then we'll be continuing doing our Super Sentai Zone and everything, and we'll be discussing 4 episodes of Goju Eagle. So, yeah, we're going to try to catch up on this season and, don't miss out on anything. So, yeah, that's how I'm deciding to do it. So anyway, guys, if you haven't watched this live, go back and rewatch it recorded. Feel free. But anyway, make sure you guys follow us on, like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, and follow us on Instagram. And also, guys, as always, stay safe, stay healthy, stay more phenomenal. And as Zordon always said, may the power protect you. And remember, once a Ranger, always a Ranger. And it's morphin' time. Engage!
You failed.
Legends never die. Have a good one, everybody. Later,
y'all.
Have fun.
No, my ring. My ring. You can't have it. No.
I've already taken them all.
Hey!